folks, Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very interesting IPO video of PhysicsWallah. I'm sure you already know that this is a company where a lot of students learn about different courses, be it JEE, NEET, or other courses. We're going to talk about that in detail. And whenever students appear for such exams, they either pass or fail. But the question is this IPO a category of pass or in the category of a failure? We are going to try and analyze it based on the RHP, obviously. And what I thought is in this video, we'll try and answer or we'll try and get answers to 5 important questions. And which are they? The very first one is how fast has PhysicsWallah's YouTube channel grown? The second one is how much percentage of their revenue comes from online versus offline business model? The third one is how much is the employee cost as a percentage of their revenue? Fourth one is how or your cost of acquisition if you apply and get the shares will be 109, but what was the cost of acquisition for its promoters? And the last one is which is the biggest risk for the company. So in this video you'll get to know about all these 5 questions and also a lot more things, so of course keep on watching the video till the end. In trading, it's not about whether you were right or wrong on a single trade. What really matters is how much did you gain when you were right and how much did you lose when you were wrong. Well, that balance comes from knowledge, discipline, and understanding the market. And that's what exactly we teach in our stock market courses. We don't promise profits. What we promise is simplified and practical education that can help you to take your first trade in the stock market confidently. To begin your stock market journey, use this coupon code, and yes, it's a limited period offer, so enroll now. Now let's understand about the key pointers for PhysicsWallah. How do they really earn money? What is their business model? Let's try and dig down a little bit deep. First things first, it's an Indian education company that helps students to prepare for competitive exams like what JEE, NEET, UPSC, other government and private exams, and also offer skills and upskilling courses. So there are 3 ways in which PW teaches the students, PhysicsWallah teaches the students. Number 1 is online. So a student can learn through online model like what? Like the student can learn through YouTube or through their website or through their mobile apps. That is the online model. The second one could be offline centers. They call it as Vidyapeeth. Now what happens here is that it will be like a traditional method of teaching and learning where the student actually goes to the classroom and learns from the teacher in a face-to-face environment. Okay. And the third one is a hybrid center which is called as Pathshala. Now what happens here is that the student is going to learn online. Means what? Through his mobile? No. Typically, you can imagine that there is a teacher who is teaching in a studio and that will be broadcasted, and students will sit in these centers of PhysicsWallah. They'll be actually learning through the, let's say the entire lecture is being displayed on a projector. So if I'm a student, I'll see the teacher on a projector, on the screen of a projector, and just in case if I have any doubts, to solve those doubts, there is a teacher who is physically present in the classroom. Okay, so learn online and get your doubts solved in an offline face-to-face manner. That's how this is a hybrid model. Okay, so 3 models I hope you have understood for PhysicsWallah. Now let's also understand one more very important point which I believe is crucial to understand the business model, because I feel that YouTube is like a top of the funnel. Any student who is going to enroll for PhysicsWallah classes, first things first, that student would want to try and understand what is the teaching methodology. Do I like the teaching of that specific faculty or not? For that, YouTube is going to be a primary funnel, and if the student likes it, then the student may get converted as an online student or an offline or a hybrid student. Okay, so it's extremely important for us to understand how much are their YouTube channel numbers. So here comes the answer to our first question. We are trying to understand how much is the growth of YouTube channel of PhysicsWallah. So first things first, latest count of PhysicsWallah Alakh Pandey's YouTube channel is 13.7 million subscribers, and if you add up all their channels of PhysicsWallah, that goes to 98.8 million subscribers as at June 2025. Crazy huge number. And if I were to understand the growth of their subscribers from 23 to 25, subscriber growth has been at 41.8% CAGR. Mind-blowing growth. And if you feel that even our channel should grow at a nice CAGR, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Let's get into a few more details about the company. This was started by Mr. Alakh Pandey and Mr. Prateek Boob. Basically, Alakh ji is a teacher and Mr. Prateek is a tech guy. And that's how together they have formed this EdTech platform. Okay. Initially, they were offering only JEE and NEET courses, but then they also diversified into UPSC, GATE, government exams, skill courses, courses across 13 different categories. Okay. If I were to also understand a little bit deeper into each category. If you see here, JEE plus NEET both put together account for almost 15 lakh users. That's a big number, right? 15 lakh out of total users, if I'm talking about, is 48 lakhs. So more than what? More than almost one third users are coming only from JEE and NEET. That's the biggest category for them. And all other categories also, if you see, they are growing on a year-on-year basis. Now, if you were to check unique transacting users specifically, they have grown from 16 lakh 82,000 to 41 lakh 30,000. Now, what is a unique transacting user? Let's quickly understand. Let's say there's a student who enrolls for commerce and also enrolls for MBA. Now, in such cases, that will not be counted as two users, but of course a single user, and that's why a unique transacting user. And these users have grown at a CAGR of 56.7%. But if you remember, I had told you that users or students could either opt for an online or for an offline mode. So here comes our second question as to how much revenue do they generate from online versus offline. Now, if you have a look at this specific number, you will understand how much is the revenue split. Now, you can see here very clearly, revenue from operations online, 14,040 million, so roughly 1400 crore rupees. And if I'm talking about revenue from operations offline, you can see here it is almost 1350 crore rupees. I'm rounding it off, okay? So 1400 crores, 1350 crores, it's more or less same. So it's like a 50-50% split between online and offline. But if that be so, some people may feel that, okay, then in that case, number of users also should be more or less similar. So number of students opting for online versus number of students opting for offline, that should be similar if the revenue is almost 50-50%. For that, if I dig down a little bit deep, you can see a number of unique transacting users online is 4.13 million. So that is a big number, 4.13 million. So almost 40 lakhs students, if I would round up, 40 lakh students on online platform. If you see offline, it is 0.33, means roughly 3 lakh students in an offline model. Oh, this big stark difference, right? Online 40 lakh students, offline 3 lakh students. But still, how come is the revenue, overall revenue, same for offline versus online? So for that, we need to check ARPU, average revenue per user, average revenue per student. For ARPU for offline channel is 40,000 rupees, 40,404 rupees. So per student who is learning in an offline model is paying roughly 40,000 rupees to PhysicsWallah. But if a student is going on an online platform, the amount is only 3,682. So always understand, whenever you are doing a business, you either play the volume game or you play the value game. Volume game is you drop your costs or you drop your price substantially so that you can play the volume game. That's what they are doing in an online model. And when I'm talking about offline, there they are playing the value game. They are charging more money. Of course, they have to charge more for offline because so many more costs are involved. It could be the classroom rentals, it could be the teacher, it could be the admin cost, electricity cost, and whatnot. So that is how they are playing a mix of volume game versus the value game. We also have to understand that how much is the pace at which industry is growing and also the pace at which the company is growing, okay? And after that, we'll understand the answer to the third question, okay? First, industry. Now, if you see here, overall, India's test preparation market is expected or is projected to grow at almost 13% CAGR by fiscal year 2030. If I'm talking about undergraduate market and postgraduate market, it is expected to grow at a CAGR of 10% and 13% respectively till fiscal year 2030. But if I were to understand about how much has been the online education market growing, at what pace has it been growing, it is like a steady growth. You can see it has increased by 2% in fiscal year 22 and 4% in fiscal year 25. Okay, so not a huge growth per se in an online model. Okay, but at what pace has PhysicsWallah grown in the last 2 to 3 years, from 23 to 25? They have their user base, their unique user base has grown at 56.7% and their revenue has grown at 98.3%. So that clearly shows that they are way ahead of the industry growth, right? Now we are going to move on to a very important question as to how much is their employee cost as a percentage of their revenue. Now, if you have a look at the financials, you can see that for March 31st, 2025, this is rupees in millions. I'm going to convert it into crores, rounding it off as well. The revenue from operations is roughly 2,800 crores. Okay, and if you see the employee cost is roughly 1,400 crores. So their employee cost amounts to almost 50% of their revenue. To be precise, 48.54%. You might be like, why is the employee cost so high? teachers in such competitive exams, be it JEE, NEET, or even something like a chartered accountancy course, teachers are paid pretty well, because the fan base for teachers is way higher than at an academy level. So if you're talking especially about offline, I'm talking about at an offline level. See, student, let's say there is a very famous teacher who is teaching in academy A, and he's able to pull a lot of students in that academy. And if academy B feels that if I get this teacher, it'll be best for me, academy B can offer a way higher package to that specific professor. And if the professor goes from academy A to B, it can be a big problem for academy A, right? So that's how many a times teachers have to be paid pretty high, and that could be a potential reason why the employee cost shoots up. Of course, apart from employee cost, I mean, apart from teaching staff cost, non-teaching staff cost is also pretty big if you're talking about offline centers. Okay, if I'm talking about other points, revenue from operations has grown at almost a 98% CAGR. EBITDA has grown at 273% CAGR. The only heartbreak moment for me is that in spite of such a fantastic growth that we did see in the YouTube channel as well, we did see them becoming a unicorn, but the only thing that makes me feel bad is that they are into losses in a year, on a year basis. If you see restated loss before exceptional items also, it's almost a 90 crore rupees loss. Look at this year ending 24, their top line is almost 1900 crores, and with that they are making a 1250 crores plus loss. I'm just rounding, semi rounding it off. Okay, on a 1900 crores top line, it's a 1260 crores ka loss. Okay, anyways, even for financial year 25, 225 crores ka loss. Okay, full year 225 crores loss, and latest three months, June ending quarter, it's 152 crores of losses. I always say that if I were to invest my hard earned money, I definitely would give a higher priority to companies which are profit making. So that is one point, as I said, which breaks my heart, right? Well, the only point is that, is this the only problematic, is that the only question point for me? Of course there are other risks as well, but which is the topmost risk for the company? Now if you see here, it has been given in their prospectus, the restated loss for the period is how much. You can see all the losses. You can also see that they had negative net worth, again mentioned in their prospectus, and they have very clearly mentioned that if you are unable to generate adequate revenue growth and manage our expenses and cash flows as we grow, we may continue to incur losses in the future, which may negatively affect our financial condition. Okay, that is the biggest risk I feel. If they are not able to grow at the pace at which they are growing, and if the expenses are at an elevated position, they're saying that we may continue to incur losses in the future as well. Second point, if you remember, I told you NEET and JEE account for a big percentage of their total revenues, and what they are saying is that our failure to offer these education categories or increasing enrollments in other education categories could have an adverse impact on our operations and cash flow. So if they are not able to grow this category of NEET, JEE, and also diversify into other categories and grow them, it can again adversely impact the business from operations. Moving on to the last risk that I would want to highlight, it's about the concentration risk. Now if you see here, 6 cities account for almost 40% of their offline revenue. Okay, with 6 cities: Delhi, Patna, Calicut, Kota, Lucknow, and Kolkata. These are accounting for almost 40% of their revenue from offline centers. Now you can imagine, if even if in one of the cities there is a dent in their revenue, can that impact the business? Yes. Now, just to give you a classic example, you can see here for Kota. Kota was accounting for 43% of their offline revenue. And if you see here, it has gone down and down to 4% of their total revenue from offline operations. Of course, can I say that other percentages may have increased? Yes, but I mean, that is also one point which we have to understand, because even if you look at the absolute numbers, if you see here, all these are rupees in millions. So if I were to convert again, almost 122 crores from quota in 2023, from 122 crores, it has dropped to roughly 57 crores in 2025. So I hope you have very clearly understood about the concentration risk. Moving ahead with our discussion, pending litigations against the company for criminal to tax proceedings. Amount is also like 11.5 crores, not a huge one for sure. Only thing is that it's a loss-making company. Also remember that in mind whenever you're talking about pending litigations, but not a big point per se according to me. Okay, peer comparison, no listed peers, very clearly given in the prospectus, so nothing to check into it as such. Valuation, again problem, no PE valuation, no return on net worth, all are negative numbers. So again, nothing to look about here as well. Now, going ahead with IPO details, price band is 103 to 109. The IPO date is from November 11th to November 13th. Total issue size is 3,480 crores. Big fresh issue. Happy with that. 3,100 crores is fresh issue. Offer for sale is 380 crores. 190 crores worth shares will be sold by Mr. Alakh and 190 crores roughly by Mr. Prateek. Okay. So that is how the offer for sale will be split. Overall, if you want to understand that how much or what would be the utilization of these fresh issue proceeds, here you can see very clearly what are they going to do. I'm going to tell you top three, right? Topmost amount 710 crores for marketing initiatives. Second, 550 crores roughly for expenditure towards lease payments, that is rental payments of existing identified offline and hybrid centers. And third one is capex for its new offline and hybrid centers, that is roughly 460 crores. Agreed. Now, now that you have understood all these basic points, if you see IPO details, 109 rupees. So just in case if some person decides that okay, I want to apply, for such a person the cost of acquisition for the shares is going to be how much? 109. But we always want to check something else as well. The selling shareholders in an OFS, Mr. Alakh Pandey and Mr. Prateek Boob, when they are selling the shareholders, when they are selling the shares, how much was their cost of acquisition? Now if you see in the prospectus, it is given first page of the prospectus, weighted average cost of acquisition negligible. Generally some amount is written here. So when I said what is negligible, and if you see the note here, weighted average cost of acquisition per share is below 1 paisa. So for them, you can imagine 1 paisa, below 1 paisa was their cost of acquisition, and you already know at what amount are they going to sell it. Well, two ways to look at it. Number one, if you say what is this, but number two, the way you look at it is, of course, they have put their sweat and blood into this company, and they have made a lot of effort to grow this company to what it is today. And of course, promoters in such cases do deserve a good return as well. So all in all, I just try to summarize this big RHP of almost 669 pages into what, I don't know what, 15, 16, 17 minutes video, whatever. I hope you found a lot of value. I hope you got the answers to 5 key questions today. If you did like the video, please don't forget to smash the like button. Please don't forget to share this video with those students who have enrolled in at least one of the courses in PhysicsWallah, so that they also get to know more about the company in which they are studying. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Shahid and bye-bye. You might have come across such advertisements on various social media platforms. Please note, all of these are fraudsters promising unbelievable returns through stock tips. I don't provide any calls or advisory services. I provide only educational content through my social media handles and through my website rachanaranade.com and rachanaranade.in.